Hello everyone, welcome back to another English language video. Today we are looking at the English language paper 2 question 4. So the question reads the following. For this question you need to refer to the whole of source A together with the whole of source B. Compare how the writers conveyed their different attitudes to sweets. In your answer you could compare the different attitudes to sweets, compare the methods the writers use to convey their attitudes, and support your response with the references to both texts. And this question is worth 16 marks. Now, because they've put the words whole of source A and whole of source B in bold, you know that you need to be using a range of quotes. So throughout your answer for question 4, you have to show evidence of quotes from the beginning, the middle and the end for both source A and source B. Now, what is the focus of this question is that it's simply comparison. So you're comparing either the differences or the similarities. So here we are looking at specifically the different attitudes they have towards sweets. So what do we mean by attitudes? It's their viewpoint, it's their perspectives towards something. And in this scenario, it's towards sweets. You've got bullet points to help you. So the first one is compare the different attitudes to sweets. So as you know, as you write the answer, you should be constantly referring to both sources A and B throughout your answer. Secondly, compare the methods. So whilst you write your answer, you need to support it by showing how methods are used by the writer in source A and B. Now, what do we mean by methods? Quite simply, that is referring to language and structure. So as you can see in pink, this is simply referring to using language and structure. So how has the writer used words and phrases such as verbs, adverbs, adjectives and nouns? That also includes how the writer has used language techniques. So that could include similes, metaphors, emotive language, personification, etc. That also includes sentence forms. So has the writer used a short simple sentence, a long complex sentence, a compound sentence, etc. Not only that, you need to compare structure. So how is the text organized in source A and source B? Is it the same or is it different? How does the shift focus from the beginning to the middle to the end? Has the writer used juxtaposition? Has the writer used a flashback? Has the writer used a flash forward? So these are things you need to consider when answering this question. In terms of the mark scheme, there are certain things that the examiner is looking for, and they include the following. Number 1 is to show detailed understanding of similarities or differences between the ideas and viewpoints. So of course you need to be able to demonstrate that in your exam. Secondly, compare ideas and viewpoints in a perceptive way. So this word here is important because a lot of students struggle to show perceptive comparison. Now, how do you do that? So in simple terms, you need to be looking at the explicit differences, so the obvious differences, and also the implicit differences, the not so obvious differences. Now, if you can do both, then you should be able to get the top marks for this question. Try to look at the differences from different angles. Look at it from an alternative viewpoint as well. Another criteria from the mark scheme includes analyzes how methods are used to convey ideas and viewpoints. So we've already spoken about this. Methods and viewpoints, in simple terms, when you are discussing and analyzing source A and source B, you have to show how the writer has used methods. So we've mentioned this. This is through language and structure. And finally, select well-judged quotations from both texts. So you know that you are against time, so you have to be meticulous with your quotation selection. So do not just pick out any random quotes. Be very meticulous with the quotations that you select, because you want to be able to talk a lot about a little. Now, a lot of students ask me, can you analyze language? Can you analyze structure? The simple answer is yes, but you need to link it back to the writer's perspectives and their attitudes. How does it link to the writer's perspectives and attitudes? So I put some top tips here and some just general information that you need to consider. So focus on the writer's feelings. This question is all about the writer. So source A and source B, how do the writers feel? And the assessment objective that you are being assessed on here is AO3. So assessment objective 3, the skill you are being assessed on is your comparison skill. So you need to be able to look at differences or similarities between A and B. In terms of timing, you'd probably spend 20 minutes on this question and you're expected to write around 4 paragraphs. Now, here we have a template which I've created for you all to use. It's a question for template for question 4, and it's something that you can use for guidance. Now, as you can see, you've got P1, you've got P2, P3 and P4. These are all your individual paragraphs. And as expected, you're expected to write 4 detailed paragraphs. Now, you see where the dots are? These do not mean you write one word within the gaps. You need to explain and elaborate for each point. So let's go over the first paragraph. So you may begin something like, in source A, the writer feels ... about ... So you'll fill in the gap. And then after that, after your topic sentence, you need to show a relevant quotation to support your idea. And then following that, number 3, you have to pick out a particular word. The use of the word, for example, that could be a verb or an adjective, or that could even be a technique. So the use of the emotive language, and then you put the quote in there and tell us what the connotations are of that word or that phrase, and tell us the meaning behind it. And then number 4 is to tell us, this illustrates how the writer feels ... because ... So here you need to focus on the writer's feelings and tell us what does it express about their attitudes towards sweets, for example. And then you will contrast it in paragraph 2, where you'll move on to source B and do the same sort of thing, follow the same order, and then you'll repeat it in paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. So if you follow this template, you will for sure do really well, but make sure you write an answer tailored to the mark scheme. And the mark scheme we've already gone over in the previous page. So take a screenshot of this template, and this is something that you can use to help answer question 4. I hope this gives everyone a better understanding for question 4, language paper 2. I will be doing a walkthrough, a full model answer for this question. So stay tuned for that. And that takes us towards the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share for more education related videos. Thank you.